bicho nojento.
Camouflaging with their surroundings or lurking in the darkness.
This snake is insanely big.
Some serpents are so silent that they are almost impossible to spot. But their sheer size makes them stand out from the crowd.
Golden child. She's over 20 feet long.
Giant, monstrous, huge, and humongous. Join us as we encounter the leviathans that will make you wonder, is that a Titanoboa?
A sucuri aí, ó.
While on his evening walk in a small town, a local was stunned to find an unexpected guest in his usual spot. It was a giant anaconda. Stretching an unbelievable length, its thick and muscular body rippled as it slithered on the grass, paying no heed to who was watching it. I guess even in quieter areas, nature's giants have a way of surprising us. Could you ever imagine stumbling upon a serpent this size? Let us know your thoughts down below. Philippines legend. In 2023, a tourist to Bohol, Philippines had the pleasure of visiting Samantha. Samantha has a waistline of 38 inches. She is currently the biggest snake in the Philippines after the previous record holder, Prony, passed away. Samantha isn't as long as Prony was, but she is definitely thicker than Prony. The family taking care of Samantha have actually made a zoo near their house now and have added other animals to their collection. Samantha attracts hundreds of tourists from around the world every year. Enormous monster.
Olha o tamanho disso aqui. Isso aqui é a cauda dela.
A Brazilian fisherman encountered an enormous floating anaconda. And what did he do? He tried grabbing it. Look at him casually trying to reel it in. It turned out the snake had passed away for mysterious reasons. Very strange. And I think the reason why it was so huge was because the snake swallowed too big of a prey and was unable to regurgitate it in time. Perhaps a cow or a sheep. Python pet.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Come on, whoa. She sees.
Jay is a reptilian lover living in California. Jay really cares for his pets, one of which is a female African black python called Lily. While Lily was trying to hatch her eggs last year, Jay decided to pay her a visit. Now, usually Lily isn't aggressive to Jay, but this time Jay was trying to play with her. However, Lily was not in the mood and bared her fangs at Jay, forcing him to take a step back. Do keep in mind that Jay is a trained and experienced animal expert, so don't try this at home, guys.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Come on, whoa. She's.
Apex predator. This monstrous serpent, the heaviest in the world, can weigh up to a staggering 550 pounds. Lurking in the swamps of South America, the green anaconda silently navigates murky waters with ease. With a girth so large it can constrict anything from a capybara to a caiman. It's a true apex predator. Imagine coming face to face with one of these powerhouses. Nature's raw strength on display. Python slithering on tree. Looks like it's not just magpies to watch out for this season. In Manly, a massive python was spotted slithering up a tree, its thick, coiled body twisting through the branches like something out of a nightmare. Local residents were left stunned as the giant snake casually made its way up, its sheer size impossible to ignore. With its snake-like grace, this python is a reminder that nature has a way of keeping us on edge. Would you be brave enough to go near, or are you staying indoors this season? Amazonian terror. On September 22, 2014, Fox News reported an incredible incident. A couple of Brazilian men thought it would be funny to disturb an anaconda on the Amazon River. The snake had just finished a meal and was in no condition to defend itself. It was resting by the bank when the man in the boat grabbed its tail and tried to pull it with him. The snake managed to release itself, but the man tried again. However, the snake escaped again, and for good. When the men in the boat uploaded the video on social media, they were actually fined $600 each. You can't interfere with wildlife like this in Brazil. Bloated terror. As Thailand grappled with severe flooding, locals were left speechless when they captured footage of what seemed to be an enormous snake gliding through the rising waters. Its massive body slithered through the flooded streets, disappearing into the murky depths. Was this a rare giant snake, or could it be a cryptid, a creature previously thought to be a legend? As the waters rose, so did the mystery. What other creatures might be adapting to the chaos of nature's fury? Would you dare to explore these flooded waters for yourself? Massive monster. Now, I know I said this video will be about snakes, but you've got to marvel at these children too. A Malaysian farmer and his children found an unexpected visitor to their okra farm. A massive python was frolicking there. Soon it tried to climb an okra plant, but as expected, the plant fell, and so did the python. And what did the children do? They just laughed at the funny scene in front of them. But was it even funny? If it had been me, I would have been evacuating the farm and the house as well. Albino python.
Got this huge motley golden child. She's over 20 feet long. She's an albino lavender. Absolutely awesome.
What a rare and breathtaking sight the albino python is. This stunning creature isn't just a snake, it's a living work of art. With its striking yellow and white coloration, the albino python is a rare genetic marvel that leaves anyone lucky enough to spot it in awe. Found in various locations, this beauty is often elusive, preferring to hide in the thick underbrush or among tree branches. Though it lacks the typical vibrant patterns of its relatives, this snake's pale, almost ethereal appearance makes it even more captivating. If you're ever fortunate enough to encounter one, know that you're looking at a true anomaly of the snake world.
Whoa, yeah, living the dream.
Dragon or prehistoric snake. A secret video has surfaced, showing an extraordinary creature slithering along the side of a mountain. With its scales shimmering in golden orange hues, it moved closer to the camera. Its serpentine grace and fiery colors were spellbound as it continued on its merry path, not paying any attention to the fact that it was getting recorded. Or maybe it just didn't care. Could this be evidence of a real dragon hiding in the remote mountains? Or was it an unknown species yet to be discovered? With every movement, the creature seemed to embody the magic of ancient tales. What do you think? Myth or reality? Let the debate begin. Tightly wrapped. While returning after exploring a jungle in Portugal, a group of tourists found a terrifying sight waiting for them. A giant python had taken over their camper van and had surrounded it completely. Maybe the python thought the van was some kind of a meal and decided to hunt it down. It was trying to compress the van into a chewable morsel, but couldn't succeed. The tourists became frantic at the scene and didn't know how to react. They were probably hoping the snake would let go of their van so that they could return home. They could have escaped the jungle by foot, but who knows? They could have encountered another snake on their way too. Horned snake. A massive, ghostly, pale serpent casually perched on a tree was caught on camera. What made this creature so unsettling was the pair of upturned horns on its head, straight out of ancient mythology. Legends of horned, otherworldly snakes have echoed through history, but no one ever thought they'd encounter one in real life. The sight was eerie and surreal, making it feel like the line between myth and reality had blurred. Could this be a forgotten creature from legend, or is something else at play? Desert's creeper. In the scorching heat of the desert, something truly unsettling was spotted. A giant centipede crawling through the dry landscape. Its long, segmented body slithered across the sand, its many legs moving with terrifying precision. Known for their speed and aggression, these creatures are rarely seen in such extreme environments. Locals are now questioning, is this a freak of nature, or has something ancient and monstrous awakened in the desert? Whatever it is, it's a reminder that the desert hides more than just the heat. Its mysteries run deep. Prony. Bohol Island, Philippines is a sanctuary to hundreds of pythons. The biggest one in captivity was 23 feet long and was named Prony. It was captured on October 31st, 1996. At the time, it was 5 feet long and weighed only 5 kilos. Since then, it had been in the care of one Eugenio Salabay and his family. It weighed a staggering 280 kilograms and had a waistline of 34 inches. Prony attracted hundreds of tourists every day, and travel guides all over the world included Prony as part of a Philippines tour. Unfortunately, Prony passed away in 2013, and the Salabay family takes care of other pythons now.
Yes, Prony, my pet.
Silent Hunter. Similar to its Burmese cousin, the Indian python can weigh up to 150 pounds and stretch to incredible lengths. Native to South Asia, it moves silently through the forests, blending into its surroundings. Its strike is quick and deadly, suffocating prey with powerful coils. A master of stealth and strength, the Indian python is a true marvel of the natural world. Indonesian serpent. Back in 2022, in a small town in Indonesia, a snake had been causing a lot of trouble for the locals. It often hunted their mammals and would chase anyone who went near the woods. The locals informed the authorities, but no help came. Frustrated with the situation, they decided to take matters into their own hands. They all gathered, and after a long struggle, they managed to catch the giant snake. It was a python. And surprisingly, it was much bigger than they had expected, about 25 feet long. Together, they took it far away from the town and released it into the woods. Hopefully, it will never return. Resting on tree. The Amazon River is a hub of anacondas, as was found by this woman on a boat. She had gone there with her family for fishing, and on a bank, she spotted a dark-colored anaconda. It was perched on top of a branch overlooking the river. It was snoozing under the sunlight. The woman shrieked excitedly at this peculiar sight. Regardless of the fact that this snake was huge, netizens actually marveled at the strength of the branch that held the weight of this coily monster. Golden viper. What an extraordinary creature the golden lancehead viper is, found only on the secluded Snake Island off Brazil. This venomous marvel has a deadly reputation. Its venom is so potent that it can immobilize its prey almost instantly. With its golden brown scales that blend perfectly into the island's vegetation, it's easy to see how this snake can stay hidden from view. But the golden lancehead is not just a danger, it's a key player in the delicate balance of the island's ecosystem. A rare and perilous beauty, this snake thrives in complete isolation, leaving us with more questions than answers about its mysterious world. 4 legs? Shocking clip shows an animal that should not even exist. This deformed, mysterious snake was caught outside of a home of a small town in Laos, Asia. It looks like a snake, with the patterns, the leathery skin, especially the pointed head. This critter even hissed like a serpent, but unlike other serpents, this one had 4 legs, proving that not all snakes evolved with time. That is what was initially believed by most people. However, the truth is actually far more shocking. It is an extremely rare species of skink, meaning you have a higher chance of winning the lottery. The log serpent. While kayaking in the Khao Sok National Park in Thailand, a couple of friends found an unlikely companion on the bank. A gray-colored snake was resting on a log, clearly belonging to a species that's known to grow as long as 10 meters. And as you can see, the snake in this video was sprawled over the complete end of the tree, and its tail was still not visible in the frame. If I didn't know any better, I'd say it might well have been the longest snake I've ever seen. Feathered serpent. Seeing a snake with feathers is nightmare fuel, and for one man in the Amazon, this nightmare became reality. He captured footage of a long, slithering serpent swimming through a river, its sleek body adorned with bright orange feathers right behind its head. Was this an unknown species or a genetic hybrid? The feathers, strikingly similar to those of a chicken, left skeptics doubting, but others were convinced that this creature was something the world hadn't yet discovered. If you stumbled upon it, would you stay and unravel the mystery, or would you run for your life? African python. In 2018, Jason Moolman was going for a picnic in Ballito, South Africa. Little did he know, something else had already occupied his favorite spot. It was a huge python, and it was definitely something you'd expect in horror movies. It was quite fat for its length, and one would think it would move slowly. But when the python did begin moving, it moved like a roller coaster on the grass. Netizens were amazed at its speed too, and wondered what would have happened if it had decided to move towards Jason rather than away from him. Saw scales. A venomous serpent that makes even the bravest reconsider their path, found in places like Africa, the Middle East, and the Indian subcontinent. It isn't as venomous as the taipan, but it has the highest strike rate. When this guy feels threatened, it rubs its scales together super fast, making a freaky sound like a saw cutting through wood, a warning that it's about to strike. And it's not just a show. If you mess with it, the strikes are like lightning. The saw-scaled snake means business, and it's a stark reminder that nature's got some seriously nasty surprises up its sleeve. Brazilian slithering monster. In 2022, a factory worker in Brazil discovered a slithering monster in his factory. There was just no end to this thick, monstrous snake. It was climbing over a fence, and when the camera followed, there was still a lot of it left before its head appeared. A modest approximation of this snake would be at least 10 meters, but its thickness was the scariest part. It was one of those rare snakes that had a uniform thickness from head to tail. When the video was uploaded online, the netizens went into a frenzy. Even if it wasn't a Titanoboa, it was just too unusually long and thick, according to them. Tentacled terror. The tentacled snake from Southeast Asia is one of the most unique reptiles on the planet. This aquatic marvel has fleshy, tentacle-like structures around its mouth that are used to sense its prey. As it glides through the water, its movements are so fluid, it almost feels like it's from another world. It's perfectly adapted to its environment, using its tentacles to detect even the slightest movement in the water. Just imagine the thrill of spotting this living oddity, graceful yet oddly eerie. Snake within snake? In a mesmerizing yet spine-chilling moment caught on camera in 2024, a massive anaconda was seen regurgitating a smaller anaconda in a video that took the social media by storm. The larger anaconda seemed to be struggling at first, its body writhing as it expelled the smaller snake. As the smaller anaconda emerged, it appeared lifeless at first. However, in an unexpected turn of events, the smaller snake started to move, revealing that it had somehow survived the ordeal. The dramatic escape left viewers both horrified and fascinated, making this one of the most talked about animal videos in recent memory. Horned viper. If there's a snake that truly looks like it belongs to another world, it's the horned viper, native to North Africa and the Middle East. This fascinating creature is named for the small, horn-like scales protruding from its nose. These unique horns are thought to help it blend in with the rocky, desert environment. But the horned viper isn't just a pretty face. It's highly skilled at hiding in plain sight, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. With its eerie, cryptic appearance and lightning-fast movements, it's a snake that truly embodies the danger and wonder of the wild. Slithering serpent. 5 years ago, a traveler in Brazil captured an amazing moment by accident. It was a 50-foot anaconda, but when he uploaded the video on social media, the netizens had split opinions about the huge snake. Some called it a hoax, but there was nothing in the video to point it out as a setup. Others said it was a camera trick, but another netizen pointed out that the width of the river was 50 feet, and the snake was covering the whole width of the river. Means it was in fact a 50-foot anaconda. Swamp surprise. Brazil is home to monstrous snakes. In 2019, a documentary filmmaker shared clips of a gigantic snake he found in a swamp. It was resting after having a hearty meal. With its tail coiled in unusual color, it was a terrifying sight to watch. When the video was uploaded online, netizens remarked at the size of the prey that it was in its belly. It looked like a full-grown cow, according to them. And the filmmaker was lucky the anaconda already had its lunch. Or else, by the looks of it, the anaconda would have swallowed his camera too. Roadside serpent. While working on a dam site in Brazil, construction workers spotted an anaconda on a roadside. Other drivers had stopped their vehicles and were afraid to cross the monstrous creature too. At first, they thought it was sleeping under the sunlight, but when an expert was called on the site, he confirmed that the snake had actually passed away. They needed to remove the snake now, but it was so heavy, they needed a crane to pull the snake on the bed of a truck. Angry intruder. A farmer in India woke up to an alarming situation one fine morning. One of his cows was missing. When he searched for it, he found it in the coils of a python. The python took its time to feast on the cow, but the farmer wouldn't have any of it. It becomes difficult for a python to move once it eats such a big meal. So the farmer dragged it back to his shed and tethered it at the same spot where the cow should have been. That should probably teach it a lesson, but netizens called it animal cruelty, as there was no way the python could have known that the cow was owned by a poor farmer. Underwater serpent. A group of Australian scientists were on a research tour in the Amazon. They were studying the effects of oil spills on anacondas, but fate had other plans for them, and by accident, they found a new species of anacondas. What was more astonishing was the fact that these new anacondas were 5% genetically different from other anacondas. For comparison, human beings are only 1% genetically different from chimpanzees. So not only did they find something they weren't looking for, they could very well have discovered an extinct species of giant snake on the Amazon floor. Monster gator. At first glance, it looked like a typical alligator, barely breaking the water's surface. But as the observer looked closer, that's when the true horror began. The water began to ripple, revealing the immense size of the creature lurking below. This wasn't just any alligator, it was a massive beast. A true horror, its shadow stretching beneath the surface like a predator from the deep, dark depths. The realization was chilling. The calm water was hiding a true river titan beneath. One may need serious guts to wait around and see the beast emerge. And that's not us. Deceased monster. A year ago, a group of jungle explorers in Brazil found a big surprise on the jungle floor. It was the carcass of a huge anaconda. It was fatter than any anaconda that you have ever seen. Imagine this huge monster slithering on a forest floor while alive. But netizens had something to add after the video was uploaded on social media. They pointed out how the dried-up carcass was much thicker than a live anaconda. Was it the carcass of the elusive Titanoboa? Does make sense if it has been hiding all this time. Croczilla. In a small town in Brazil, locals often saw a giant crocodile in the river, which terrified them. No one dared to go near the river. The locals reported it to the authorities, and expert divers were sent to investigate. When they went into the river, they discovered that the crocodile was much bigger than anyone had imagined. It was a huge, almost 30 feet long, but surprisingly, it was a gentle giant. The experts carefully took it with them, but after that, no one knew where it went or what happened to it. Leviathan. 16 years ago, when a factory worker in Malaysia returned from lunch, this isn't what he was expecting to welcome him back. A huge python was lying in front of the storehouse, and the way it was so still, it was probably lying in wait for a prey. The worker decided to videotape it, and as he moved from tail to head while recording it, the monster snake just kept on getting thicker. It looked like there was no end to the snake, but finally, the head did appear, and boy, was it a monster of a snake. Massive reptile. In the town of Bataraza, Palawan, locals were left stunned when a giant crocodile was caught on camera at night, cruising through the waters like a true predator. Its massive size sent waves of shock through the community as it glided through the river with cold, calculating eyes. This wasn't just any croc, it was a true river king, and its appearance was enough to spark all kinds of fear. Was it a legendary creature? Or just a rare giant? No one in Bataraza would ever look at the river the same way again. Congo discovery. In 1959, Colonel Remy van Lierde, a Belgian helicopter pilot, captured this image while conducting a patrol over the Congo. He transferred the photographs to a zoologist and wildlife photographer. Ray confirmed that the snake was indeed a giant one, taking into account the given height of the helicopter, which was estimated at 4550 m, and the angle of the camera. Turcafs concluded that the snake must have been 12-14 m in length, with a diameter of 16-18 in. If alive, this snake would have broken all records of the longest snake in existence. It's time for today's open discussion. In the middle of an abandoned building, one curious local stumbled upon a nightmarish scene. A humongous snake captured and bound in heavy chains. Its colossal body lay lifeless on the ground, mouth agape, and seemed to be stained red with blood, which I'm guessing was the result of a violent struggle, perhaps. It's a no-brainer. This massive serpent won't have gone down easy. A group of brave hunters might have finally managed to capture the beast, but at what cost? Was this the jungle's apex predator, or is something even more terrifying lurking nearby? The story doesn't end here, I'm sure. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like and share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.